Okay, now here we are in the let's discuss part, and I'll show you how to multiply whole numbers by 1/10, 100, and 1000. So if we look at example 1, we have first a 5/10, and we are multiplying 5/10 by 10, right? And first count how many zeros are in the last digit of this number. There is 1 0, right? So let's start writing down the 0 first, and then actually this is a different case. We have a decimal number for the multiplier, so we'll work in a different way. So first look at the 5, then 0.5 times 1 is just 0.5. But here you have a 0 in the last digit of 10, and having a 0 will basically move this decimal point to the right, and that will give us a 5. So 5/10 times 10 is 5. How about for the next example? We have a 5 being multiplied by 1/10. In this case, the multiplier is a whole number and the multiplicand is a decimal number. Okay, and we'll also work with this. First look at the multiplicand. It's a decimal number and it has a 0. Since it is a decimal number, it has a 0 in front of the 1. See, you have 1 0 here. So what you will do is just multiply 5 times 1. Multiply 5 times 1 and you will get 5. And then since you have a 0 in front of the 1, you have to move the decimal point to the left and place it here. So the final answer will be 0.5, 5/10. So 5 times 1/10 is basically 5/10. And what does moving the decimal point to the left means? It means that you are dividing this number by 10. So 5 times 1/10 is the same thing as 5/10, and 5/10 is basically 5. So 5 times 1/10 is 5/10, and that's the same thing as 5 divided by 10. Okay, let's go to the next example. We have, for example 2, we have 6 times 100. In this case, we have two whole numbers, one for the multiplier and the other one for the multiplicand. So what you will get is, okay, first let's write, since these are two whole numbers, I'll write down first the zeros in the last digit. So zeros. I added the zeros first. And then multiply 6 times 1 and you will get 600. Okay, that was a simple case. So what if we multiply this whole number 6 by 100? What if you do that? Then, okay, this is not 100, this is not 10, this is not 1,000 either, right? You have a decimal number with zeros in front of the 1. So in this case, just multiply 6 times 1. And then, let's imagine there is a decimal point here. You have to move the decimal point. How many times to the left? 2 times to the left, because you have 2 zeros in front of the 1. So move twice. 1, 2. The decimal point should be there. Just fill with the zeros. So the answer for 6 times 100th is 600ths. And moving the decimal point 2 times to the left basically means you are dividing this 6 by 100. Okay? 6 divided by 100 is just 600ths. Okay, let's go to example 3. In example 3, we have 85 times 1,000. Okay, that's basically this is also a very simple case. We have two whole numbers. You don't have any decimal number, so Just follow the standard rule. Write down the zeros. I will write down the zeros first in the product side. So 3 zeros, and then I multiply 85 times 1. So, and I'll write it down here. So the final answer is 85,000. Okay, how about for the next multiplication? We have 85, the same whole number, but this time we are multiplying it by a decimal number, which is 1,000ths. Okay, decimal number. We do something different. We don't write down zeros here. First, you have to count how many zeros are in front of the 1. You have 3 zeros. And then multiply 85 times 1. 85 times 1, which is just 85. Now, since you have 3 zeros in front of this one, you have to move the decimal point 3 times to the left. So 1, 2, and 3. The decimal point should be here. Let's fill the gap with a 0. So the final answer is 85,000ths. So 85 times 1,000ths is basically 85,000ths. And moving the decimal point 3 times to the left means that you divided the original number 85 by 1,000. Okay, so that's the answer. So when you multiply a certain number by 1/10, so the certain, okay, let's say if you multiply this number 10 by 1/10, then we have to move one decimal place to the left of the number. So that will be here, one decimal place to the left. So it's basically 1. How about when we multiply 10 by a certain number? How about we multiply 10 by 1/100th? In this case, you have 2 zeros in front of the 1, so you have to move 2 decimal places to the left of the number. So write down the number 10, then move, because 10 times 1 is just 10, and then move the decimal place 2 times. So you put 1, 2, and place it here. So that's basically 1/10. And when we multiply this 10 by 1,000, then what we'll get is, okay, just multiply 10 times 1 and you get 10. Then since it's a 1,000th, you have to move the decimal place to the left 3 times. You have 3 zeros, so 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. The decimal place the decimal point should be there. And fill it with the zeros. Then you'll have 10, basically a 10,000ths. So 10 times 1,000th is 10,000ths. Okay, always remember that, and now we'll move to the next part.